We all feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. May not get about lost a bit. It's all say calm, but spark is lit. Then everybody's on. Who's this? And try to stay calm, but yeah, to fuck with them. Oh yeah, we all got issues, and don't be fooled, they be used against you. Only you decide your true potential. Whatever that means, these rules is mental. And rules is lame. I don't suggest it's how you play this game. Change yourself, they'll change it out. Don't forget all the players involved. Don't forget you're not the only guy. Yeah, heard what they did to that bearded guy. Guys love to kill and they love to lie. Gotta be strong if you want to survive. Gotta be wrong just to see the wild. Why everybody's fucked though, everybody tries. How we all end up stuck with our own lives. If you live long enough, you will see both sides. It's gonna hurt a bit, but sure as shit, see the words of it. We all get here, problem words can't fix. Oh, it's a trip you don't wanna miss. Cause we all feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. Hope by now we can all agree that everybody sucks to a different degree. Don't be the fuck that says, oh, except me. They're the very worst type of human being. That's rude of me. It's true, that's mean, but I don't believe in free will. UCC, while I feel some I'm meant to be. Full of excuses, stay away, please. One can teach a dog how to shit in private, but one can't teach a god how to kill its pride. It's more than mad and rather dangerous. Nobody wins in a war of anger. Won't move forward till everybody gets. Nothing just happens, it's cause and effect. We see the pattern of how they connect, or blame boogeymen in our karmic debts. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but fear does shit that's hard to detect it, harder to correct, but I guess I digress. The whole point is sometimes you gotta live, not just live, but really fucking live. Don't miss your shot, no lie, who did? Yeah, I feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. Come on now. Don't act like you ain't fucking weird, man. We all feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. May not get about lost a bit. It's all say calm, but spark is lit. Then everybody's on. Who's this? And try to stay calm, but yeah, to fuck with them. Oh yeah, we all got issues, and don't be fooled, they be used against you. Only you decide your true potential. Whatever that means, these rules is mental. And rules is lame. I don't suggest it's how you play this game. Change yourself, they'll change it out. Don't forget all the players involved. Don't forget you're not the only guy. Yeah, heard what they did to that bearded guy. Guys love to kill and they love to lie. Gotta be strong if you want to survive. Gotta be wrong just to see the wild. Why everybody's fucked though, everybody tries. How we all end up stuck with our own lives. If you live long enough, you will see both sides. It's gonna hurt a bit, but sure as shit, see the worth of it. We all get here, problems words can't fix. Oh, it's a trip you don't wanna miss. Cause we all feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. Hope by now we can all agree that everybody sucks to a different degree. Don't be the fuck that says, oh, except me. They're the very worst type of human being. That's rude of me. It's true, that's mean, but I don't believe in free will. UCC, while I feel some I'm meant to be. Full of excuses, stay away, please. One can teach a dog how to shit in private, but one can't teach a god how to kill its pride. It's more than mad and rather dangerous. Nobody wins in a war of anger, won't move forward till everybody gets. Nothing just happens, it's cause and effect. We see the pattern of how they connect, or blame boogeymen in our karmic debts. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but fear does shit that's hard to detect it, harder to correct, but I guess I digress. The whole point is sometimes you gotta live, not just live, but really fucking live. Don't miss your shot, no lie, who did? Y'all feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. Come on now. Don't act like you ain't. Fucking weird, man. We all feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. May not get about lost a bit. It's all stay calm when spark is lit, then everybody's on. Who's this? And try to stay calm, but yeah, the fuck with them. Oh yeah, we all got issues, and don't be fooled, they be used against you. Only you decide your true potential. Whatever that means, these rules is mental. And rules is lame, I don't suggest to say play this game. Change yourself, they'll change it out. Don't forget all the players involved. Don't forget you're not the only guy. Yeah, heard what they did to that bearded guy. Guys love to kill and they love to lie. Gotta be strong if you want to survive. Gotta be wrong just to see the wild. Why everybody's fucked though, everybody tries. How we all end up stuck with our own lives. If you live long enough, you will see both sides. It's gonna hurt a bit, but sure as shit, see the worth of it. We all get here, problems words can't fix. Oh, it's a trip you don't wanna miss. Cause we all feel weak, won't call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this and it. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live, everybody dies, this and it. Hope by now we can all agree that everybody sucks to a different degree. Don't be the fuck that says, oh, except me. They're the very worst type of human being. That's rude of me. It's true, that's mean, but I don't believe in free will. UCC, while I feel some I'm meant to be. Full of excuses, stay away, please. One can teach a dog how to shit in private, but one can't teach a god how to kill its pride. It's more than mad and rather dangerous. Nobody wins in a war of anger, won't move forward till everybody gets. Nothing just happens, it's cause and effect. We see the pattern of how they connect, or blame boogeymen in our karmic debts. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but fear does shit that's hard to detect and harder to correct. But I guess I digress. The whole point is sometimes you gotta live, not just live, but really fucking live. Don't miss your shot, no lie, who did? Yeah, I feel weak, one call it quits. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Ain't just me that feel like this. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Those who know, no, we don't know shit. Everybody trips, yeah, everybody trips. Everybody dies, this admit. Put your hands up now, everybody live. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody live. Hey.
I guess there was an update. Can everybody hear us now? Let's see. That's yeah, that should be it.
I guess there was an update.
There it goes.
Bam!
Woo, woo!
High fives.
Use whatever that thing was.
We did it.
There is an option in your thing where
They
you
did it.
can go turn off where it auto changes.
But that's not the way I got it to work yesterday. Is what's weird.
Yeah,
It was a
may-
different thing.
Whatever
That's
that
weird.
thing was, it may be like a virtual one that Streamlabs activates. And
Yeah.
It might have turned off last night.
Yeah, that's so weird. Real quick, come here. I want everybody. If you don't, people don't always get to see, appreciate the difference between me and Alpha. Come here. I think it's hilarious. That's 6'5" by 5'9", folks. All right, get out of here, you big
See the
giant.
top of his head.
You giant so and so.
Can you close the door?
What's that? Oh yeah, that'd be great. What'd you say, Faeble?
You can't even see the top of his head.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nobody said that's a big motherfucker. He is unlittle. I'll tell you that. He is unsmall.
North speed.
In other words, trees is a no.
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 He's
He
a
is-
halfling.
No, he's a Mexican.
I'm a
See, that
I'm
was
a-
a highbrow joke.
no. See that was a racist. That was.
I thought I was allowed to say it because I'm like, know. I'm married to you.
No, listen. I enjoy racist.
I'm allowed to make short Mexican.
We had a big long awkward talk about racist comments earlier. It's like it's okay to be racist if you're making a good racist. You know what I mean? Like if you're good at math, if you jump high like black people, or good at math like Asian people. It's like great stereotypes to have. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and like here's like what stereotype do white people get?
Colonial. They're good at capturing people.
Yep. That we're racist.
Really good at capturing folks. It's like, man, nobody puts people in a cage like white people do. I'll tell you what.
Oh God.
There it is. Oh, goodness. Good evening, guys. I'm sorry that y'all have to deal with our uncomfortable stuff. And yes, I am a very tall Mexican. When I was Egyptian, I thought, damn, I'm short. But I am 5'9". Same. No.
See, but you're just good
That's going too far.
You can't do it. You gotta retire that one. That's pretty much easy.
Yeah.
Jerry rigged is an easy alternative.
Yeah.
Looking out for you.
That's just like one of those.
Did he
like
just type that on Facebook?
Can't.
No, surely not.
That's Facebook, right, William? On
Yeah,
Facebook?
Jerry, no! Jerry's a good man. Well, they're all good folks.
I wonder how like they replaced that word with Jerry. Like, what has Jerry done to deserve
Yeah, who
this?
is Jerry?
Well, listen, let's not assume that the other ones were so bad, okay?
Well, it's a slur. It's supposed to be offensive.
Jury rigged. I like that.
Jury rigged.
It's like, bro, that shit's jury rigged for sure.
Yeah, that's a normal term.
Angel, same.
The 5'6" is funny. I met someone on Final Fantasy the other day that is 4'9". I was like, oh my lord.
Was it a dude or a lady?
It was a girl. She's like just really fucking short.
It's funny because women be talking a lot about how they want to be big and strong and seen, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, but I'm like, genetically, we're smaller and it's bullshit. I've heard this a lot. Look, and I talk shit about men too, okay? Let me just get through it. I think you'll see it, okay? It's funny because most girls I know want to be smaller. You know what I mean? They're like, I want to feel more safe out here. It's like, well, why don't you want to be like 7 foot tall then? It's like, I want to be smaller. I want to be tiny. Well, you carry it around.
It would not tell you.
I'm trying to get
fun.
I'm trying to get
strong.
Yeah, strong.
She is yoked, y'all. You're secretly yoked, hanging out with my girl. Oh Lord, that shit is so fun. Everybody should watch Big Mouth, and everyone should watch Human Resources.
Human Resources, yeah.
I know that's not.
Called.
I know that's not what you do. He said, dude, I know a woman who is a 6'2" Amazon goddess, okay? And listen, for all you youngsters out there, he doesn't mean she's shipping boxes, okay?
But she can.
Going straight back to Amazonia.
I bet she can lift hella boxes, though.
Cutting off her right titty.
Like, she totally can lift boxes, though.
Wait, why is she cutting her for titties?
Because she's an Amazon. It's for shooting the bows better.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. I bet that'd be useful.
Yeah. Oh, so Amazon was made up in like Roman times, I feel like.
Yeah, because they went across the ocean and found a bunch of giant fucking ladies.
And then they named the Amazon after the Faeble Greek thing, I'm pretty sure. He said both. She did whatever. Be looking out for the Scientology. Oh, yes, dude. Please feel free to shoot us a link whenever it comes time.
That's super cool.
I'm excited to hear about that. Oh, guys. Okay, I think it's important. Okay, listen. First 5 people to join our cult are going to get a free t-shirt. So you should definitely do that. Second thing you should know is that it's not really a cult, but you should do it anyways and proudly say you're a cult member because we don't worship these fuckers.
Yeah,
Today, that's going to become very relevant because this guy raped this lady, okay? And so it's kind of nasty. Like today, we're focused on Ninlil. There's not a whole lot of art out there of her besides like the old ancient tablet stuff. And anyway, so we're going to be talking about Ninlil and Enlil throughout this. BJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's amazing.
Noise.
6'2" chick that could do Brazilian. That's dope. That's cool. Which cult tonight? Well, listen, it's the same cult. It's the cult of Anunnaki. We just want to let you know if you're part of the cult, You're just part of helping discover the truth about the Sumerian. We believe they're aliens. We believe they're advanced aliens that came down and possibly seeded life on the Earth. That's what we think.
Personally, I think like their personalities were not any more like moral than humans.
No, you're right, right.
They seemed to have been just as diverse as humans. There were like good ones and bad ones and petty ones and stupid ones and rapey ones.
Rapey ones, right?
So I definitely do not worship these guys, but I think that they made humans, and yeah, we're just trying to like let people know, because not very many people know about them. Like people don't even know they exist.
And if you're looking for like objective evidence of like aliens and stuff like that, it really is like a mountain full of old objective evidence. It's so fucking good. It's so interesting. It connects all the religions and everything.
I'm trying to get that.
Don't be oh, nice. She's like, I don't smoke weed, but if Snoop passes you the joint.
Yeah. I mean, it would be sacrilegious to not accept
it. It would be pretty.
Yeah. Try to pass you.
It's like, there's a commandment somewhere that says you gotta take the blunt.
Puff, puff, pass when the dog father's in the room.
Yeah. No matter if you've never smoked, ever.
90 years old.
If you're
never did it once.
You take that shit.
You take that shit.
Even if the coughing will cause you to have a heart attack and die.
I hope somebody comes in for the first time right here. You know what I mean? Like, this is the way to come to our stream. You got Snoop Dogg, you got the dreads and the cape over here, you got a floating head above her. Like, this is great. So yeah, guys, so we don't actually worship these guys. We're just on the search to find out things about them. And yeah, we're about to get into some weird shit at some point. And yeah, I heard he dipping his hands in all of it.
He's doing all kinds of shit.
I thought Snoop had a whiskey.
Maybe.
I thought it was Ryan Reynolds that did gin.
I mean, him and Dre did the gin and juice. So, I mean.
Maybe he did the gin. I just remember Ryan Reynolds did gin. He had aviation gin.
Interesting.
And Tank, man, it's been forever. How the fuck you doing, Tank? How are you? He's like, man, you was a VTuber last time. Now you're Snoop Dogg. You never know what you're gonna get.
So, yeah. So we talked about Enlil, this guy behind me, last week, and now we're going to talk about his wife, Ninlil, this girl behind Snoop Dogg. Mm-hmm. And she's his wife, and their story is interesting because he raped her, and then she married him. And the consequence to him raping her was that he was sent to like the underworld by the other Anunnaki. Yeah,
because he was the third in command after Anu and his wife, his father and his mother. He was the next in command after them. But whenever he raped her, they were like, bruh, ain't nobody too fucking cool to get fucking checked for that. And they stripped him of all his powers and banished that bitch for a long time.
Yeah. So, so like he like unconsensually impregnated her, and then after they like hung out in the underworld together for a long time, and apparently he like disguised himself and like impregnated her 3 other times after that. I don't know why he's like constantly they're doing this shit.
See, I've not heard some of these more obscure stories.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I read like right before we turned this on.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's just new to me.
You know what? We can fact check that.
Because that also sounds like what Hades did with Hera.
Right, like kind of. Well, but Zeus did end up turning into all kinds of different things.
Yes, but
I'm trying to think with Hera.
Hades kidnapped
Persephone. Yeah.
He takes Persephone down there, and he does that a bunch, where he'll disguise himself as a different being or thing, so he can even just talk to.
Well, that's interesting because Enlil is actually supposed to be like the parallel to Yahweh. Like he is Yahweh. Which is hilarious to me because it's like, what's the story of Yahweh, rape-wise? Well, we know he unconsensually impregnated Mary.
Right. The Immaculate Conception.
Yeah.
I cannot think about the Sister Mary story without thinking about how South Park portrayed it. With the guy showing up, the gay guy who's always like, all right, here comes God. He's like, he's going to want to do a little donkey punch. And he just, it's all kinds of crazy shit. Like, he's going to come in and it's going to be something. But yeah, Ninlil's story, it's, I wish I'd been taking better notes. But Zachariah Sitchin says one of the oldest tablets that is attributed to Ninlil is he sees the maiden by the water and he wants to lay with her, he wants to have sex with her. And he approaches her, and like at first, like Ninlil and her friend were admiring how large his penis was. They talked about it, but then when it came down to having sex, they were like, no, your penis is too large. She wasn't having it. Like literally, some of the oldest text on this was her being like, it's too large. But because these motherfuckers are supposed to be 17, 20 something feet tall, so yeah, I don't know.
So
Yeah.
So a 10-foot long penis.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that
has
works.
to be.
It happened.
Let me look up and see how tall Enlil was specifically.
Yeah.
Anyways,
How big was he? Penis.
I might say
We got measurements.
maybe only the gods with the really small penises could do it, or maybe
That's
they're
why they had to turn into
propor-
animals.
Right. Well, right, so that they could size it down.
Yeah. They had to turn into other guys, animals, because they were just too big.
Bruh. That emo, it's like, what the fuck?
But what if he
This
just
is
turned...
some of the oldest stories there ever were.
Yeah, the oldest story is no, I don't want to bang. Please, no.
No, yeah, really though. Really though.
No, your dick's too big. I just also enjoy that the first one of the earliest stories is just two women going, man, his dick's huge. God damn, that thing's huge.
They were over there just talking about
Because they're
it.
like, no, I don't want to fuck it. Gross.
I'm just
Ugh,
like,
too
I'll
big.
admire it, 'cause god damn.
You just don't see it every day, bud.
That's crazy. People would come from nations to see this thing.
Okay, damn it. It's crazy. It doesn't have how tall he is, but it has how tall Gilgamesh is. And Gilgamesh is 2/3. Sounds like a bad hentai plot. It sounds like the very first hentai plot. Like
This was the first hentai.
Yeah, Gilgamesh himself was 17 feet tall.
Yeah.
And he was only half Anunnaki.
Right, and his whole story was his mother was a goddess and father was a mortal. So that's a lot easier to make happen.
What type of...
You know what I'm saying? Like a dude, like, alright, bend your big ass over. Hold on.
Yeah, she was like 20 something feet tall.
Yeah, this was the first like mistress thing.
Well,
Step on
now,
me, goddess.
was Gilgamesh taller? That's what I want to know.
God.
Like, was he tall? You know what I mean? Taller than the Anunnaki.
Yeah. Or was he like half height of what an Anunnaki?
Right. That's what I've always wondered because it says he's 2/3. You know,
2/3 Anunnaki.
What would
WW.
Mac Miller do? He'd fuck it for sure. Mac Miller's a freak alien.
What would Mac
Freak.
Miller do?
Try and find out. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it now, but I would like to at some point to find out, yeah, is he tall? I thought it was what would Mac Miller do, which I was like, he's a fish alien, by the way. There you go. That one's free.
He totally is. Look it up. He said so himself.
I mean, he calls himself a fish alien and just does all kinds of weird stuff. But no, it's like a conspiracy that nobody looks into or
He's
talks about.
weirdly obsessed with fish.
Yeah, and even calls himself a fish alien. Like, I was watching this guy and studying this guy's career at one point. I was like, you know, man, something just tells me this motherfucker's a fish alien. And then I look it up because I'm like, huh. And I was like, Mac Miller fish alien. Because this is just the kind of silly shit that I do. And then he has a song called I'm a Fish Alien. And he's a rapper, like, very lyrical dude who made it. It's just an instrumental, and then he says something in reverse with all these effects on it. And yeah, and nobody else thinks this but my crazy ass, so who knows.
I believe it.
Well, yeah, and some homies, but I really expected it to be like an online conspiracy. It's like the guy himself, you know, said it. I don't know. He's interesting.
I have a feeling that it's just like there's some people out there that we've just like people have just accepted that they're aliens and it doesn't matter. It's like really, if Mac Miller was an alien, I don't want them to know. I don't want the government to know. They take Mac Miller away. Look what happened. They took him away.
Nah, Mac Miller had a pass through the government. You know what I mean? They know he was on a visa. You know what I mean? They have programs.
Did his visa run out? Is that why he died? Is that why they died?
Maybe.
Their visa just runs out?
Maybe. It could be, it could just be him bowing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's funny, like the Epstein stuff. Silly humans, we're everywhere. Morisabe, I hope you're an alien. Please come talk to me. That would be so awesome. That would be so great. Because I feel like Jeffrey Epstein, people don't believe he suicided. So if you're open to that, it's like, really then, this bitch could have just walked out, got $20,000 worth of fucking facial reconstruction, and you would never again know who he was. He's just like living his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But his nose and teeth and different things are just like completely different. You could like replace his teeth. You know what I mean? Like completely change them. Like they're not his teeth anymore. Dental records are completely different. Everything's different.
Right. Yeah.
For like a minimal amount of money, when you consider what kind of rackets he was working in, it's like. So if you wanted to be a celebrity, you wanted to like bow out, like you're like, dude, all these celebrities talk about how depressing being a celebrity is.
Yeah.
So I assume like a lot of people, you like fake their death to kind of just bow out of the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, or he could just be like living in his own personal island, like not the Epstein Island, a different one.
Another one.
Right, another one.
Where nobody knows where it is.
Me and Zara were talking about this the other day, that there are like literally places where generals fleeing World War II, Nazi generals and others, would flee and then settle and make entire encampments in other countries. Like there's like villages in Brazil where they're literally like all blonde-haired people walking around with like using natives as like hired hands, but they're like blonde-haired, blue-eyed, wearing lederhosen. Go in and talk to them, and they're like bringing you out like their grandparents like war medals and all this stuff. And like, yeah, our grandparents funded this village, 60 years ago after they fled Germany. And so now that you're here, and it's like just like these 300 Aryan or whatever fucking people just living in this little fantasy village.
Yeah.
Like a wet dream to any kind of like community person. You know what I mean? To any hippie. Like these beautiful, unbelievably beautiful places. She's like, Dad, people really do this? And I was like, Psh, let me tell you. Yeah. I was like, they really do this shit. So you can just like dip out and like live completely other lives, be missing for half a century and the world not know about it. And then like, if they would have, if they weren't like as involved with the shit that they were, like if World War II wasn't such a big deal, they could have went on for however many hundreds of years undisturbed. Yeah. Just doing their thing.
Truly.
Working the locals.
And on the slightly kookier side, that shit's like proven. That's like fact.
Yes, proven.
On the slightly kookier side, apparently Antarctica is also a place where people like to disappear to and, just kind of like retire there.
I would love to see what else going on there. There's so much mystery. So much mystery. It's a weird frontier that like, it just feels like it should be explored more. It should be, I don't know. That might be where the Anunnaki are now, or that might be where you go inside to the hollow earth. Mischief, how are you doing, man? I'm glad you did a little jump thing there, falling in and grabbing the star. Welcome, bro. Hope you're ready for a good night. I sure am.
This is slightly off topic, but since we're talking about Anunnaki, like mixing their DNA with the apes of this world to create humans, I feel like it's appropriate to mention. It's not completely off topic to mention something that I read the other day. Apparently, I don't remember exactly. It was like the early 1900s. They decided to start experimenting with human Z's.
Human what?
Human Z's.
Z's?
Yeah, impregnating a chimpanzee with human sperm.
Oh, wow.
And apparently it took one time.
And you said this is kooky, so what do you mean it's kooky? I
said it's off topic.
Okay.
Slightly, but not exactly. But anyways, so this woman this monkey, this chimpanzee carried this half-human baby full term and gave birth to it, and then they decided that it is like, you know, like inhumane to keep this thing alive, and so they euthanized it.
Wow, bro, that's funny because I just now got to the point in the Anunnaki Sumerian shit where they're going through all the different experiments. So it's like a whole 45-minute chapter that we really need to listen to. Because there's like a story about how they came about to like even make the decision. It was a big decision, a well thought out decision to even make animal workers and a people to incorporate. It wasn't taken lightly. And so I remember I was on about some of it, off about some of it, but it's after the original taking, when they finally got down to the right formula, they made different hybrids of all kinds of different things. When they decided on using the certain ape that they did in the Anunnaki model, they actually had they called them birth goddesses or whatever. I forgot what word they used for them. I don't think it was that holy, but it was like they had like 14 of them, and 7 of them carried the male embryo in them. A male, and 7 of them carried a female. So they like had the ability, once it was found out, Inky's wife carried the first one, and then after that they had 14 births. I'm trying to remember the name they used.
I feel like, I vaguely remember hearing some.
We'll listen to the whole thing later so I can bring whatever, but it's interesting. It just reminds me, in their story, they had to have one of the Sumerian Anunnaki themselves carry it in their womb to birth the originals. And so that's interesting now that it is on top. You bringing up the human Z's, how we're kind of like doing the same thing now. And once again, just imagine what they're doing and not telling us about.
Right.
You know what I mean? You think America, the fucking jarhead America that we have, or the Russians or Chinese military, isn't out there taking silverback apes and injecting them with some human DNA and then putting rods in their brains from the time they're teenagers so that if God forbid they have to, they can send out some fucking super ape bitches.
I will say that this is not, the Human Z story is not one that they have outright admitted to doing, but there have been some like well-respected scientists come forth and like say that this is what happened.
That's what I was looking for earlier. Okay,
but it's been heavily denied, even though like people that are otherwise like very well respected and all that have like said that it's true.
Yeah, that's wild, man. And it's interesting. Man, all the genetic modification stuff, so weird.
Yeah.
I re-looked at those glowing pigs the other day. It's such old news now. It's like 9 years ago we were able to genetically make pigs that glow in the dark. It's fucking crazy. Like I said, just like the above ground legal stuff that you hear about, it has to make your mind wonder, the black market stuff that's going on.
Yeah, seriously.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah, so, I'm excited to talk about Enki and Ninki and Ningersag and all that next week. The birth, whatever the fuck.
Say that again?
Huh?
Say that third one again.
Ningersag.
Ninher?
And it's spelled exactly like it's sound, 9 letters.
She changed her name to Ninma later on, and I think I prefer to call her Ninma because it's easier to say.
Are we sure that's the same person?
That's according to Chris Hardy.
To who?
Chris Hardy.
Oh, okay.
Author of DNA of the Gods.
Oh, Sitchin's niece?
No. That is, I want to say Judy Sitchin.
Gotcha. Okay, but it's actually a Sitchin.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But no, the Chris Hardy book that I've been reading, she sources Zachariah Sitchin's shit a lot. So I kind of regard her stuff as more credible than a lot of people's.
Oh, that is
that
cool.
I've explored.
You're talking about Judy?
No, Chris Hardy.
Oh, Chris. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, they definitely might be right. I know because we were talking about the other names that I weren't really familiar with, Ninti and a couple others. So yeah, I'm excited because there's so many names throughout here, and different places we'll call them differently. Like the Babylonians and the Assyrians, very closely related people groups living beside each other, having slightly different pronunciations or even name changes because they're also titles. Oftentimes they're titles.
Yeah.
Ea or Inki was Ea, but then he gained the position of Enki.
Well, yeah, and you'll notice like Anu and Antu are married. Enki and Ninki, Enlil and Ninlil.
Yeah,
these
they're
are all
the titles.
not
Yeah.
the names.
They do. I feel like they do that in a lot of gods. Like it's like a lot of gods in mythology is like someone can take on the title of this being.
The only one I've ever heard of from that was the Odin Force, and I don't even know if that's how it works in Norse mythology or if that's a Marvel thing. You know what I mean?
The Allfathers thing is transferable. The Odin Force, I don't know if that's a thing. I think that's just a Marvel thing. But like Thor in like a guy becomes the Allfather. Like a person can become the Allfather because he has to be immortal, so someone has to always be him, and that's like the whole thing of him. But if you take on that thing, you get turned like into the Allfather.
Right.
Like you're not the same person you were before.
Right. Well, and there's definitely a lot of different talks about like these tablets of power being transferred. Like the power of Enlil was concealed inside of a tablet. The fire of Enlil and the power of Enlil. And then at one point it's stolen and taken back. But real quick, to answer Morisabe, that's definitely interesting. It's interesting that they tried it. And once again, I just always can't help but wonder. You know what I mean? All this stuff, you've got to consider both markets. The public market and the private markets. You know what I mean? Because poor people have very interesting private markets. It's like, you don't know that you can find some weird pussy for sale right around your corner. But you can. If you're not in the market for it, you don't know that there's some crack rock, 200 yards from you. Just with your name on it for fucking $10. Like, you don't know this until you do. And so when you think about all the private poor people black markets, then you start thinking about the giant facilities where stuff is kept closed. And some stuff is so close to the public, we know about it for so long, but it's not confirmed. I'd love to talk about how Area 51 wasn't declassified till like 2002, 2012, some shit.
Yeah.
But I was seeing Area 51 in cartoons when I was in the 90s. You know what I mean? Bugs Bunny was making fun of it.
And they denied it so hard.
Yeah.
And then, in the early 2000s, they were like, okay, you're right. Yeah.
That is Area 51. Stay the fuck away. 20 years later, people are talking about Naruto running. They're like, no, we will shoot you. This is a real base. You got to stay away.
Yes, it's called Area 51. It's still a fucking military base.
Right. We can't let other countries.
There's a soldier standing, like, he's underneath a shroud that's sand covered, like 30 feet in the fucking fence, just waiting for someone to run.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you don't want this.
I was trying to think of another one that's a title. Like Sun Wukong is a title.
Oh, interesting. That's one I'm gonna start looking up soon. You brought them up enough. I've got to.
It's a really interesting.
It's like the Chinese mythos. But it's interesting. Before you get too deep into it, Hinduism talks a lot about monkey people, and there's tales of flying monkeys and stuff like that. And of course, they're the neighbors, so it's like very closely related people group as well.
It's very weird because essentially Sun Wukong is the savior of the monkey people, which is essentially human.
You just got to refine it down, Mischief. That's the thing. They're refining down the formula. Refining it down. Keep going.
But,
I bet they did privately.
Journey to the West is the story of Sun Wukong. That's the story of his rise from nothingness to ascension, to fall, to rise again.
Journey of the West?
Yeah.
I'm going to see. Keep talking. I'm going to look it up on Audible.
Journey to the West, I think is the name of it.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it's very strange because like his story is usually there is the story of the original Sun Wukong who rose to fight the gods and failed. And when he failed, he falls from the heavens and pieces of him are spread throughout the world.
There he is on a cloud and with Goku's stick. That is so funny. This is Goku.
Yeah.
That's why me and him kept talking about it, is because so much Japanese stuff is based off of him. But he's flying on a cloud with a staff.
The Journey to the West story is like a commonly used theme in a bunch of things. You just won't really notice it that it is.
Yeah.
But and then what happens is pieces of him go out there and they form into beings, soul go into other things and become new beings.
Mm-hmm.
And normally those beings will be drawn to the pieces of Sun Wukong.
Hold on. Say that again?
Like, when he fell,
Uh-huh.
Sun Wukong fell from the heavens after being defeated the first time.
Okay.
All of the pieces, his crown, his staff broke into a bunch of different little pieces.
Mm-hmm.
His sash, which has a power, his gourd has a power, and the cloud. And then himself broke apart into a bunch of different little bits of soul that went out into beings that were being born and became beings.
Interesting.
And those beings had like a natural draw to go find and complete the pieces of Sun Wukong and become Sun Wukong.
Interesting.
It's a very weird story. So like that's why they say that that's why there's like if it's like to be like that there's probably generations still of people connected to that original that being.
Right. No, I love that, and I've definitely got to get more familiar with it. That is so fun.
His story is the story of he found the answer to the world and knew that the gods made us slaves.
Is that right?
That's normally...
And so he didn't like that, and he decided to go fight him.
He decided to go, I'm gonna go break out, fuck this shit.
Interesting.
And that's why China's like, no, worship Buddha.
Yeah.
Worship Buddha, please. He knows the right stuff. You don't need anything. See all this Buddha worship. That's who you want your people to follow. No, that's crazy because Sun Wukong, that sounds like a G.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool story.
Yep, I downloaded the Audible. It's like 43 minutes.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, it's a very short
So
story.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like the stuff that we have on like the Bible or the Anunnaki. It's bits and pieces that they've found, like old stories of this. That like some guy in China wrote a scroll that had image of this weird monkey guy at the top, and then it had these few bits of writing, and then they kind of filled in the rest.
Yeah, like I said, and that fascinated me because one of the coolest things that I've seen recently has been the land bridge that was discovered, that was talked about in the Ramayana. And he employed the help of... What's that?
A Hindu book.
Yes, exactly. And he employed the help of monkey people. I thought there was monkey people that could fly in it. Let me see. Land bridge of Ramayana.
It's that's the
And that's not. Is it not Ramayana?
I'm glad we.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm glad that they mark things like this still like properly as fiction. That it is still because they can't really confirm that a monkey god existed. Just some guy wrote about it in the 1600s.
Right. Well, this place in particular that he's talking about, like, it's supposed to just be a myth. It's just made up, but they recently found it.
Yes. It's called Adam's
real.
Bridge is where to find it, Wikipedia. But yeah, this land bridge, they didn't discover it till very recently. Let me see.
But yeah, it's said to have been built by monkey people.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think all these stories exist.
In some form. I think all of them really, like most of them were leading back to real stuff that had actually happened, and whether the people knew how to put it or not.
Like, what if Sun Wukong's story is connected? Like, he was just one of the monkey people that didn't want to be a slave no more.
Yeah, I mean...
Right.
And then now there was a story of that somewhere. It's like it's like, what? Like, it's like these things could have happened, and like maybe the Anunnaki were just like, maybe we don't let that stay in history. Let's try to get rid of that.
Well, it's interesting. Sitchin believed at some point that the humans left. You see a very common succession of power throughout most religions, where gods are in charge, and then demigods are in charge, the people that the gods either fucked or made, and then the humans are in charge. Egypt has a king's list, which shows people ruling for like 500,000 years. Thoth ruling for like 12,000 years, plenty of other ruling for these crazy time periods, and then it breaks down to the demigod dynasties, which were much shorter, and then the human dynasties, which were very short. Yeah. So most religions or popular religions show like that kind of succession. So, and Sitchin believes the same. The Sumerians were here, and then they left. So yeah, it's interesting to wonder like who was hiding what and why, and who got left behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, were the blue people, were they like a real people that got left behind, or these people were able to control the gender? Perhaps it was just another scientist who was like, I'd like some blue fuckers. And I'm gonna make them beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna just teach them how to make music. Like that's gonna be their thing.
We saw this.
You know what I mean? Like people would totally do this.
We saw it in Resident Evil. Remember, that's what Wesker did in Resident Evil. He made clones of himself,
and then chose those traits.
He could literally choose the trait. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah. And yeah, thinking of, so I've wondered before if like the blue people weren't like a side project. I'm so convinced that the platypus was just a science fair project. like somebody was like trying to impress their niece or nephew or maybe even the young Anunnaki were like having a competition or something. You know what I mean? Because it really takes stuff that shouldn't be connected. Like,
what if it was just like a joke too? Like some Anunnaki, younger Anunnakis just chilling one day, and one of them's like, "I dare you to show up as a blue motherfucker, 17-foot tall blue motherfucker, scare the fuck out of these people."
Right. Well, that's what's cool about the Hindu gods. They're like typically the same height.
Yeah.
They're just blue.
Just blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all blue for some reason.
Okay, so it looks like Nala. Okay, Venara is the term of the monkey people who are told to build the bridge, and that Nala person was the chief engineer. Okay. This is Wikipedia. According to the Ramayana, Venaras were shapeshifters. In the Venara form, they had beards with extended sideburns, narrowly shaved chin gap, and no mustache. They had a tail and razor-sharp claws. Their skin and skeletons were enforced by indestructible Vero. What? I don't know. Wikipedia just went off right there, so I don't know.
Like chi. They were enforced by chi. That was what allowed Sun Wukong to the monkeys to fight back, is because they could inherently pull in chi where gods were not.
That's crazy. This is interesting. The goddamn Venera.
That's weird. Because the monkeys in Sun Wukong's story, they were slave workers as well. That's why he was trying to free them. Like, they were quite legitimately used as the workforce of...
Well, and we're monkey people as well. You know what I mean? It's like...
And that's what's funny is...
Coming to realize that was, like, such a huge part of, like, my own spiritual journey. And, like, coming to a point, like, it's not that we descended from apes. It's that we're still apes.
Yeah,
we're the hairless ones. There's like Persians, you know, the bald cats. They're monkeys with beards, and we're part of the great ape family with different size, you know, beard and facial hair and stuff like that, different fur patterns, stuff like that. We're the naked apes. Still, not from, still are. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
Sorry, I'm so stoned and I had to say that. It's been a long time since I had mentioned that, so in case I hadn't.
You don't know, now you know.
Wait, did it also say that there was it said in that thing you were just reading, it said the veneer could change shape from being more monkey looking to normal looking? Is that what it said? The
hue,
because it said there was two kinds, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, the first thing in Wikipedia is, in Hindu mythology, Venara, it says forest dwellers of a race of forest-dwelling people. In the Ramayana and its various versions, the Venaras helped Rama defeat Ravana. Yeah. They were generally depicted as humanoid apes or monkeys in modern serials or modern television serials. I don't know. This Wikipedia is silly. I don't know. I would actually have to go read the fucking.
I don't even know what it's talking about. That is so random.
The Ramayana.
It's weird that the monkey thing, I didn't really ever notice that the monkey people thing was a very common one. I thought that was just Chinese mythology.
Yeah, well, once again, keeping in mind.
Yeah, that we're monkey people, but...
in their neighbors, though.
Yeah.
India and China.
They are neighbors. Yeah, right.
They're right there.
That would be a weird crossover, I guess.
I'm surprised that there aren't more dragon stories in Hinduism, but maybe there is and I just don't know about it.
Oh. trying to think.
They're so popular in the east. You know,
Yeah.
just a little farther east, I should say.
And like also the dragons of the east are way different from English, Anglo-Saxon dragons.
Yeah, that is interesting. You'll have different regions that depict them different.
Yeah, because like literally they're on the same continent. They're like Europe and Asia are on the same continent, and they both have two different dragon stories. Where Asian dragons are long noodle-like dragons, and then English dragons are what we know as dragons, like what we as Americans.
Bro, and finding out that so many people ran into dragons, like Marco Polo claims to have ran into dragons. The story of Alexander the Great ran into a dragon. Crazy. There's like a weird amount of like historians that people have like really looked at serious who claim to have ran into dragons.
Well, I mean, what is a dragon but like a dinosaur?
Well,
You know what I mean?
it's also that, but in like Chinese mythology, there is a group called that are it's normally the dragon people. Like they are a race of dragons that can be human-looking to dragon-looking.
Lizard people who run the world. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So, shape-shifting, by the way, I finally found something, just still in the wiki here. Later on it says, in the Ramayana, one Venera Hanuman changes shape several times. He even goes down to the size of a cat, so they will not be detected. So shape in whatever, just claims whatever. Later on, he takes on the size of a mountain. See, yeah, so I don't know. That's interesting. That's weird. That's just hard to imagine. It's like even with futuristic science, going from the size of a cat to the size of a mountain. It's like I don't want to discount anything, but that would just make me want to relook at that story and be like, okay, well, where does this come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was this relevant to the time? Was this somebody telling a story? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, India does not have dragon-like things.
Huh, it is
In
weird.
their mythology, there's no dragon-like creatures in their mythology. Like there is a snake, like a serpent. They're the serpents. They have serpents.
Interesting.
And I just want to say that their serpent kind of does just look like a Chinese dragon.
Oh, long skinny one?
Yeah.
Or like, I guess most steaks are skinny. What am I talking about?
Like
Yeah.
that's like art of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
you know,
Neighbors.
India was one of the last places you mentioned Alexander the Great earlier. India was one of the last places he was able to conquer because even though it's like right up next to the rest of Asia, it's kind of like just like a peninsula that's got like a huge mountain range and that like kind of isolates it.
Right.
And so it's very difficult to get into India any other way besides like a plane because of the mountain range. So maybe it's just the dragons never bothered to venture past the mountain range.
Right. Some kind of zone. It's weird to think of the possibilities when you really open up your mind, when you don't have to be married to the truth, and you open up your mind and start seeing what some of the people in history are suggesting. I don't know, it's a big, weird, magical world, and it's so fun. It's so fun. Go lizard people. It's the lizard people.
Maybe.
It would make sense that they wouldn't want to go there. Because if the only thing that they have that is considered close to a dragon-like thing is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Vrichya in Hinduism. It's like a serpent that is of drought and different things, a demon serpent
Huh.
that kind of ruled over most of the land there for a long time.
Well, it's like, and if you're like willing to entertain dragons and aliens and all that stuff, there's no telling what kind of treaties or long, weird history there was. You know, it's like, you know, a dragon being seen in that land for 6,000 years of human recorded history.
It's like we just don't go over there.
Right. Well, we're talking about Thoth ruling Egypt for like a 12,000 year period. You know what I mean? So there's just no telling. Could have just been like a recent thing. It's like, yo, so and so lives over there. They got some of those blue motherfuckers that live over there who love to hunt dragons. Let's just stay away from there. Those blue motherfuckers off the chain with it. Every time you see a fucking painting of a blue god, they got a badass bow and arrow doing some shit. They got a spear in one hand, standing on a pile of skulls. It's like
Rama was famous for his bow.
and Rama was famous for his bow. See what I'm saying? They're like, and that was a blue person. That was one of Krishna's avatar, Vishnu's previous avatars.
Interestingly, it's weird that in the dragon in Hinduism in like India is about droughts and different things, but then most of the Chinese dragons, which is right next door,
are water deities. Like they're all for lush and bringing forth stuff. And they called the dragon in India a demon specifically.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, they may have had like some bad deal or relationship or experience. That is very interesting. I remember there was a crash course on this that kind of broke down the different interpretations for the cultures. Yeah, how one was seen as a good thing and one that's
Yeah, and
man.
they're even talking about it like all of these like different.
No, dude, we're just getting started, man.
Because there's even like in Norse,
How are you?
there's Jormungandr, which is the world serpent.
Yeah.
And that's the dragon serpent that during Ragnarok is supposed to kill Thor and different things like that. And then Zeus fights the serpent Typhon, which is another serpent.
Right.
On a little bit farther away. Yeah, it's just... And like there's people talking that most likely all of these did exist in the world because there's stories of giant serpents and different things everywhere.
Well, it's interesting. It's like if you're going to entertain the full Sumerian Anunnaki tale, at one point, and I was just listening to the birth stories, we're going to listen to this week. We have to. It's fucking crack. I am so good. Thank you for asking. Just getting caught up in this stuff, man. Looking forward to the hangouts, man. But they're talking about like engineering human or these
Chimera?
Yes, essentially, just making different kinds of things. Blending different kinds of animals, trying to find a good serpent. So if you're dealing with like a super advanced species, they could take on whatever form they want. They're already, we know that Gilgamesh, who's 2/3 of one of them, is 17 feet tall. It's like, well, how tall do you expect a dragon to be?
Huge.
And if you can, around 17, 20 feet, that would be a gigantic fucking dragon. You know what I mean? And so it's like, if dragons around the same size, it's like, is there that possibility that they're an advanced species in society where it's like, I'd rather have scaly skin and wings and a tail, you know what I mean? You could be a 17-foot like these guys, or...
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they had a pretty good handle on
changing
genetic
shape.
engineering. So.
all the genetic engineering, way good.
It's weird to me too because like
So maybe they have like dragon folk, you know what I mean?
By the time we see dragons, like the dragons we see, the English dragons with wings, little hand, like little 4 arms and 2 arms and 2 legs, those are way smaller than like the serpents of ye old Chinese stories and things. Like,
Well, how big were these serpents in the Chinese
the
stories?
world serpent wrapped around the planet. Jormungandr, it lived under the crust of the planet and was wrapped around it multiple times.
Interesting.
Like Yamato no Orochi is another serpent from Chinese mythology, and that thing was said to live in the ocean and was huge, like big as continent huge. Like its head would come out and be the size of an island.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of another one. What's another random one? Oh. So like I wonder if like as time went along, it's like maybe we should make them smaller.
Right.
It's like that first one we made, that big ass one, it could have just crushed the planet, guys. What would we have done then? We wouldn't have anything to fuck with.
That's interesting, man. That's wild. Yeah, there's just no telling too. And once again, trying to find out like who saw these things and where the story coming from. You know what I mean? Like if they had created these giant water serpents to maybe like guard the coast or whatever. So basically like a giant evolved watchdog. Or to guard their fucking cargo, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have different ones for different sizes. This is what I wanted. When I finally had the sense, I was like, man, you know what would make me feel real secure? A giant-ass dog. I want a big one. Because I want my daughter, when she's 15, she's like, I want to go downtown. I'm like, yeah, just take the motherfucking murderer with you. Like, take the wolf with you, and we're fine. So if you're a 17-foot motherfucker, and you're looking for you a big security pet, there ain't no telling what kind of motherfucker. We just watched Resident Evil and saw like a 80-foot crocodile.
Yeah, like that is a ridiculously sized thing. There is like, what do you do against something like that in real
life? Yeah, if you were fighting it, like your bullets aren't going to even start to penetrate it. Like not even start to.
Right.
Like it's crazy. So like, and even if you did, it's like your bullet gets lost in our blood. They're so big. But it's like, yeah, you throw a couple metal rods in that motherfucker's brain, you can start controlling that shit. Like, oh, it's weird to think what kind of like weird pets you could have had, like, or an advanced species can come up with. I just wonder, it's like, too, you know what I mean? Like, I totally see humans doing shit like this at some point. We've already done such weird stuff, you know what I mean?
We're on our way, man.
I mean, chimeras, we already do it, like, on a small level with, like, dogs and cats and different things.
Right. So I'm saying, yeah, what's being done in secret? Like, I'm wondering, you know, when they gonna bust out that when those Gundams. Like, I hope that World War III doesn't prove. I hope that's not.
I told you, if they bust out Gundams, if they give me a Gundam, I'm joining the military. You want to get every nerd to join the military? Give them a fucking Gundam.
That is so funny. So really though, if y'all haven't seen it, they got those Atlas robots, okay? And they've already got government contracts on them. Them bitches are coming. They made these Atlas robots. They're like 6 foot tall, 300 pounds. They opened up a contract with DARPA. DARPA said, that looks good, but we want it to look more person-like. And it needs to be able to carry an artificial intelligence unit on it. This is real feedback that DARPA gave.
Artificial intelligence what?
And it needs to be able to house an artificial intelligence unit on it as well.
Like it has to have an onboard system.
So that it can operate independently in the field.
Wow.
Remember I told you.
Decisions for itself?
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's like the above
crazy.
ground feedback that Boston Dynamics received from DARPA, the same people who brought you the internet. I'm sure they don't control it. But anyways, so that's like above ground shit. Like that's not conspiracy theory or anything like that. And if y'all have seen the videos of these Atlas robots, these 6 foot tall, 300 pound of steel motherfuckers can do backflips. They can dance better than half of my friends. Like they can run sideways on walls and shit. They're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. And that's what we see in public. But if World War III pops off, the only cool part will be is that somebody will unveil their motherfucking 30-foot version of this. Their 60-foot version of this.
Because why not?
Right.
You know, like,
you scale that shit up. Like that bitch come up out of the water. Just.
Surely we weren't the only. Like, if we could think of that, they definitely thought of that.
Yeah.
And they're doing it.
Just crushing. It sent one robot just like kicking over buildings and shit. It's like, oh my god, we surrender. It's like, yeah, we got 15 more of these that we can drop down from space at any point.
Right.
Quit fucking around.
Seriously.
Like, okay, you win. When people start dropping them Gundams from space, they start popping out of the ocean. Germany's like, enough.
Robot the size of like Pacific Rim style. I'm down.
Bro, I'm telling you, I feel like it's coming. If it ain't already here, like I said, if they're publicly working on the 6 foot version of it, I almost guarantee they're privately working on the big ass version. Someone is. Someone's like, this is it. All right, what are we looking into over there, Alpha?
I'm just reading the Wikipedia article about the Anunnaki.
Oh, nice. What are you coming across?
It's just like weird things talking about how like a lot of the text that they found, it's like it talks about the Anunnaki as if like each one is in a separate group of its own. Like there was no singular Anunnaki cult. All of them had an individual following in each place they existed in.
Well, they do disperse throughout the time, and they have their own cities and temples and all that stuff.
See, but then my brain goes, okay, the parallel there, that sounds to me like, okay, one of them went away and became Zeus. One of them went away and became this guy.
Yeah.
One of them went over here and was this guy.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, it makes most sense.
And there is an interesting history that has wars amongst themselves, power being transferred, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And whenever you have these pantheons of 12, though, and all this stuff, it's like it doesn't necessarily mean that like that's where they're all at. It's like they could be like 3 or 4 people group all talking about the same people who are just a few hundred miles east. Or a bird flights away, whatever, and that's where they meet, and they're just calling them their native thing.
They mentioned one story of a singular city where one Anunnaki was supposed to rule. That I don't know. It didn't give a specific on which one. It was just talking about this story, and it said that there was over 300 groups in that city individually worshiping this god, this being, but all separately. None of them getting together and talking about it. none of them. Like it was just a bunch of people everywhere, just like we all worship the same guy, but we all worship him slightly different. In a slight different way, following different codes.
Well, because you start having like sensible sacrifices when you start talking about that shit. Like you look at the Bible and it's like they came and they killed 3,000 of their best bulls, and God was happy.
Didn't do anything.
And they burned their best incense, and God was happy. But then you look at the Sumerians, who are literally older, the oldest fucking religious. It predates the Bible and all that other shit by so fucking far. And they would have the same sacrifices, but they would be like, oh, bring us your best 300 cows. That was yummy. Thank you. That was delicious. Bring us your best wine. God damn, they got drunk and had fun. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I still now want to go look into the Anunnaki sacrifices stuff and see if it says like specific words of the animals they would sacrifice.
Oh,
because
yes.
I know in the Bible it specifically says bull and calf.
Well, different people have different preferences, it seems.
And that, but that's
because
where
you'll
I'm
have some gods that like Shamash wanted, like I forget what it was, but it was different than what Enlil was typically asking for. Like they had like
yeah, I will see, and that's what I'm wondering though is.
Or I'm in the mood.
Yeah, exactly. It's like different preferences.
I'm in the mood for calamari this month. You better bring me 300 of your best octopuses.
I just want to know if the Bible was just like they chose the bull specifically to be like because that's inky.
Right, or Enlil.
Enlil,
Yeah. Yeah, that shit did add a whole nother layer of mystery.
Yeah.
Like that whole story of Moses and the worshiping the golden calf, the bull.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that before.
It's like, what the fuck is really happening there? Well, even when I was a Christian, there's a story of like what bothered me about Christianity, and I would always ask, it's like, okay, so the Bible and Abraham and all that, he's the first people of God, right? They're like, yeah, okay. And I've read the stories. I know that's true to them. They're like, yeah, the people. But it's like, but Abraham runs into the king of Salem, and no one's ever able to explain that. And they worship the same dude, only his people had been established far longer.
See, and this is just like the
Melchizedek. His name is Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's the king of Salem, and he meets them, he gives them aid, he gives them some food and shit like that. They celebrate, and he goes on about his way.
Yeah.
And he's a high priest of the same order. But Abraham is the father patron, but it shows that there's like a whole like following of the same person that is like way before him.
Isn't that just the thing that I saw in that story about the Anunnaki, how in that one city there was 300 groups worshiping the same god
But unconnected. Right. I mean, well, and that, if you're looking at it as a plural God looking, or looking at the way we are, that makes sense. But in like the biblical context, there was like no explanation.
Yeah.
And like very rarely talked about amongst Christian circles, like the king of Melchizedek, like what was that like? Well, you know, they like predated Abraham.
Yeah.
Abraham was the dude.
That's weird. I never really thought about that one. Because that name pops out, the King of Salem. I just remember that because it was always one that the Salem word catches you. Because Salem's the witch place normally that most people would say.
It is weird that is, yes.
That story's lame, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's so...
It got way overhyped.
Right, like you look back at it, you think there's like this huge massacre. It wasn't even that many people, was it?
It was like 3.
Not that it was terror. It shouldn't have happened, obviously, but
3 people that got killed by an accident is what most people assume now.
Well, it's because like some little girls like lied about what happened.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact story now, to be honest.
Like the helper of the lady, because we've seen it in so many things recently where they show the real story, where it's like the helper. They think she's a witch, and she like affected the young girls, but really the young girls were just lying pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Got him killed.
Yeah.
Killed her.
And they killed like 3. They killed what was her name? Tituba? Isn't that her name?
Oh wow! And in that series we watched.
Yeah, isn't that
that's so funny. I don't know if they used the real names or not. That's maybe.
I think that's her. I think that's the real name.
I don't remember. Me and Zara read the story in school this year.
Really?
I just remember being like, this is so lame.
Yeah, Tituba. She was the enslaved girl who was the first female to be accused of practicing witchcraft during the 1692 Salem witch trials.
Oh, nice. I'm glad it stuck with the actual name. I guess that isn't surprising.
I just wow though, Jesus, the depictions of this lady are not nice.
Oh, she ain't cute.
No, she looks like a fucking witch doctor.
She's a fucking witch.
Like it's like she was
The original witch.
But if this is what she looked like, right? If that's what she looked like, I want to see the white Protestant Christian motherfucker that was like, yeah, let's hire her.
Yeah, they made her look
Right.
like stereotypical, like where the Halloween witch comes from kind of thing.
Or they just wanted to, or maybe that's why they thought she was a witch. Like, but bruh, she's so ugly,
She's
dude.
ugly as fuck.
Like, look at her, and she's always walking around like this, hunched over.
The children
got
are
that
scared of
cackle?
her. She's so ugly.
You ever hear her laugh?
Right.
Obviously, she's a witch.
It's creepy, guys. She. Can we just agree she's creepy?
It would been like,
Nah, man. Draw her uglier than that. People ain't never gonna forgive us. Draw her worse than that. This is why we had to kill her.
it's like, who do we blame? The little tiny girls or the weird witch-looking lady?
Oh man. All right, man. This has been a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna go cuddle up with you for like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then come back and holler at these guys. I'm gonna send y'all over to some more Dungeon and Dragon folks. Oh, this guy's so sweet. Really, everyone should check him out because he's so sweet. He just like he paints miniatures and builds worlds and does all kinds of stuff. Say hello to the guy for us. Tell him Strange Trees said hello. I'll be back live in no later than 40 minutes by 12:45 at the latest. I may come in a little earlier. All love to you guys. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Go to the Discord. Join the Discord. StrangeTrees.live. Come join the Discord. Go check out the music videos. Go listen to the Spotify songs while I'm gone. And share some love with yourself and with others. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.